I'm done beating the shit out of slavers and
Oh, yes.
tying them up.
Did we, the slaver boss and the jailer, did we tie them up or did we just KO them? Or kill
We
them?
tied them up, then we beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. We beat them to unconsciousness and then tied them up.
Ah, yes.
No, the slaver boss got tied up, then got his shit rocks.
Oh yes. No, you're right. I forgot. Because you put hold person on him and then we tied him up. And then when he broke hold person, continued to beat the shit out of him until he passed out.
So here we are, Slaver's Basement. I think we stopped here mostly because there was some information you guys wanted to look for, or things you wanted to talk, like look up and that sort of thing, if I'm not mistaken.
We were
Okay.
going to investigate the room, weren't we? In the building?
We wanted to look for identification paperwork and then go back to Alistair. We wanted to see if there's
I
anything
forgot
that
my laptop today.
we wanted to see who these people worked for, if there's any indication about it.
Okay. Well, to find this information, do you guys go talk to the jailees? Jailed? I don't know what word the people who are in the
slaves.
pens? The slate?
The
Well,
livestock.
the whoa. Whoa there.
Alexa, shut up! I don't even see her fucking name!
Why do you have that? That's creepy.
Oh my god, she just... I haven't connected it to my new network out of spite.
What?
I have a She Who Shall Not Be Named from Amazon. Anyway, we're talking to the slaves.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk to slaves first, if you guys just want to release slaves, if you guys wanted to search the tables, if you guys wanted to try and beat the information out of the slaver and the jailer. I didn't know what approach you guys wanted to find out to find paperwork identification, that sort of thing.
Well, how everyone's gonna start? He's gonna break his enlarged spell, and he's gonna start releasing people from the cells.
You didn't want to do it in Gigantor form?
Nah.
You don't want to be so super imposing and scary.
No.
Come with me if you want to live.
They're like, damn, I don't want you anymore.
Can we just wait here until you leave? Can you just leave the door open and just take off first?
Well, naturally, the people are overjoyed that one, you're laying them out, and two, that you beat up the jailer and the main slaver boss. So people thank you, and there are some people that like look like they're from in town. There are some people who, though, definitely don't look like they're from town, like they've been gathered from somewhere else.
Well, that's good. I was about to address that actually. It's gonna have the
Also,
people who are from town separate into one group, the people who are from out of town separate into another group. Those who are from out of town, we will offer them lodging for the time being. But please continue.
Oh, that's all I was gonna say.
No, Aelin has something to say.
did we get the names of the people who went missing?
I didn't come up with names. If you'd like me to, I can. But you have you probably have their names, like a general
Mhm.
description of them, probably some sort of photograph. It's probably like drawn,
Okay. I
no
don't give me
digital cameras and whatnot.
Well, if we have their names, then how everyone's gonna call out the names to see if everyone's present. Do a roll call.
And 5 out of the 6 people who had gone missing are accounted for between the 2 pins.
Okay. Then he's gonna ask around if anybody knows what happened to the 6th person.
A couple of the people who were in the pins mentioned that maybe that person got sold, I guess would be the best way to put it. They're not 100% sure, like most of these people only like know because they explain the people who are in these pins now have been collected over the last week or so, and every week like all the people go somewhere and then they get more people.
Okay. Did we bring anybody with us? Like,
Just the fearsome foursome.
I just had to mentally count us to make sure. Sad, isn't it?
does anybody have... I should know the answer to this fucking question by now, but does anybody have a communication spell?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Alright, then I guess these people are just gonna have to hang around for the time being and watch us beat some information out of these chumps.
So these are the out of towners. Sorry, the audacity of work wanting me to work.
Well, I guess one of us could go up top and try to flag down a city guard or something.
I missed most of everything that was said once I was muted. So what happened?
He said someone should go up and get a city guard person.
But
Or we
like
just
what?
draw their attention. Fire off a couple spells into the air.
But there isn't really a city guard, remember?
Sure.
They're very few and far between, but definitely setting a few spells into the air is going to draw some amount of people.
It's going to get attention. Whether it's good or not is an entirely different thing.
Right.
Okay.
So
Why do we need a guard?
I don't know. That was going to be my question.
Well, what are we going to do with all these people?
Well,
Like, who's going to
okay.
interview them and take their statements?
I
there's
mean,
gotta
since
be
we're
a,
kind of in this, it seems like that's an us job now.
Well, no. We're not the city guard. We're not the proper authorities.
Yet?
Yet. I mean, if Aelin wants us to, like, pull over a desk and a couple chairs and start taking statements, then by all means.
Actually, if we're going to position ourselves to be able to put the city guard in place, shouldn't we actually do this properly? What do you think?
That's what I was suggesting, by getting a city guard to come by.
Yeah, but I meant not to get the city guard to come by. Do it ourselves. I don't know.
I think we might have different definitions of properly.
No. Well, when I mean properly, I don't mean properly as in the proper. What I mean is.
So you're saying don't go through the proper channels. We will be the proper channel for the time. Yes.
Well, basically, I meant effectively usurp the proper channels because, as I understand it, the proper channels are relatively useless.
Yes, because they're stretched thin. Too thin.
So wouldn't we be relieving a burden on the
All right. Well,
quote unquote
Yeah.
proper channels?
yeah. Maybe I was too far in the other direction. Maybe what we should do is inform the proper channels and then say, "Don't worry, we've got this." Do you know what I mean?
That could
We
also
already
work.
do have our feet in it.
Okay, so if we're gonna do that, someone's got to start taking statements. Someone who's literate, probably alien. Someone has to go up top and start firing off spells into you like a maniac to get some attention. So that could be Harlan or Halbjorn. And then someone has to start beating some answers out of the leader. Which we could all take turns at that, actually.
Yeah.
No point letting
Should
one
I,
person hog all the
like,
fun.
an investigation of the tables in the area looking for paperwork?
Sure. And roll investigation.
I would love to, but I left my laptop at home today. Would it be possible for you to do that?
Nope. You're going to have to roll with some random object there. Find a 20-sided object and let us know what it rolls on. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Wait a second. I've got my dice actually.
What?
Dice.
Really?
Yes. I have your life dice.
Oh, cool.
I have one set of dice on my person at all times. Because I'm not weird.
Fair enough.
I rolled for you.
Okay.
Rolled all right. An 18.
I
That's
rolled an
pretty good.
18. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so you look over all the desks and so you find, obviously the normal things, paper, pen. There's sort of I would say like a few bills of lading. Like shipping manifest sort looking things. And it's very nondescript. Like 10 humans, 5 elves, 15 dwarves, that sort of thing. It might have like a special indicator, if they have something special, but looking through most of these, you see like the most, I would say like rare race of people that you come across is like the occasional tiefling.
That would make sense, I suppose.
Otherwise you just get, and then you get what's listed at the top. It's like a inventory list. Again, these people are very business-centered slavers. So there's sort of like it'll have like tally marks next to like it looks like a generic sheet that says like human, gnome. It pretty much has all the major races. And it'll have tally marks next to each one. And glancing through these tally marks looks to be about accurate with how many people are in the pens.
Okay.
Can I just clarify
Any-
something? Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking, is there any indication of intended destination, finance type sheets, anything like that?
Oh, sure. Okay, so you see that there's a a couple different places from the bill of ladings that you can find. They, like, I would say it's probably a 3-way split pretty evenly. About a third of them go to about a third of them are destined for Summertide. Another third of them are just listed going to, it just says like trade states, so you're not sure which, but it's probably the latter 3 that it's talking about. And then the final third of the people are destined for this place called Astradale, and it is probably the closest town, if you want to call it a town. It's more like an abandoned settlement next to the tear.
Ah.
As far as financials go, it looks like all of them, it looks like no money is actually going to the slaver. The slaver's sort of like a middleman, and you see like some like odd amounts that go to him, but most of it's going to some sort of like shadowy organization, or like it's not listed. It just lists like another, like, I guess I would call it like an archaic routing number.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gives like I would say more like an address of like an odd named business. It's nowhere here in town. And the town is listed in, it looks like maybe the town is listed as Summertide, but it's hard to tell. Like, it's kind of scribbly.
Okay.
Well, we could ask this guy.
Well, yeah, we'll verify information as we
Yeah,
have it to verify.
who he's working for, etc. So to all intents and purposes, it looks as if this slaver is in the employ of somebody else.
Correct.
Another group.
Correct.
Right. Okay. I just want to clarify. So the 6 that we initially knew were missing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We had details on all of those.
Yep.
Like we had sort of descriptions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the one that we can't find, what do we know about them? Do we know what race they are? Like the race, gender, age, that type of thing.
This is a so the one you can't find is actually a female gnome.
Right.
She's like 150, but for a gnome that'd be like just above adolescence. Like,
Yeah, in a
like
prime.
20s. From the manifests, it looks like she was possibly shipped out to, there's a couple different female gnomes who get listed on a couple different manifests. It looks like she was either sent to Astradale or sent to Summertide. She was not sent to the other trade states.
Right. And is, like, broadly speaking, when we're looking at this group of slaves and the slaves that we seem to have been moved,
Mhm.
is it like a hodgepodge of different races and ages and genders, or does it seem Do we see any correlation between particular like races being moved to a particular place, or is it just a very does it seem general, or does she seem typical or not typical or anything like that? Is there no real patterns that you could see? You know what I mean?
I do. And there is there doesn't seem to be, like some are male, some are female, like there's about an even distribution there. And there's a pretty even distribution among the races.
Right. Okay.
But here's the catcher. All of these Hello? Hello?
You're
Hello?
back.
Yes,
Hello.
sorry.
All right. We thought you'd been transported to another plane or something.
No,
Oh, fucking Beers.
Stay away from Pleasant
I went to grab a new vape because my old vape died, and when I put the computer back down, I put my finger next to the power button. The odd thing about this group, or maybe it's not odd, depending on how you look at it, but the thing that most of these people have in common is, per their race, all these people, none of these people are above, like, even the low end, even the high end would be like low middle ages. So if you're a human, max age of people that you're seeing is maybe 40, and that's probably pushing it.
Okay.
So most of these, and no one's younger than, I would say, like the age of adulthood, whatever you want to call that. So 18, 16 or so for humans, for comparison. Everyone's in that age range. There's no one below and no one above. You don't have any old people. You don't have any children.
Yeah, that makes sense to a degree, doesn't it?
So they're seeking a specific demographic then.
So is people broadly speaking in their sort of physical or mental prime, isn't it? I suppose.
Right.
I would have preferred you to have said 45 for the top age. But never mind. I'll let it go. Yeah, the only reason I was asking about if we could see any correlation between the movement of was to see, like, for argument's sake, let's say there was loads of dwarfs being sent to some sort of one particular place because they're associated with certain skills, or
Sure.
do you know what I mean? Or like loads of, I don't know, gnomes being sent off. You know what I mean? But if there isn't particularly, I don't suppose we can glean anything from that.
Upon looking, like if you look really hard, you do notice that none of like the quote unquote ultra rare races, like tieflings, Aasimar, that sort of thing that you guys don't see very often, none of those are being sent anywhere except for the trade states.
None of the. Okay.
Like regular, like your average, ordinary, everyday races are being sent everywhere.
Right. Okay.
But the rare races are only being sent to the trade states.
Okay.
So two, I would call them fairly important pieces of information as far as demographics, where they're sending things.
Yeah. So we could do with asking this slaver guy. What is it? Is it? You said it looks like Summertide's written down, didn't you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Right. Can we ask this guy if it's summer? If it says Summertide? What it says? What the hell does that say?
So, he's knocked out at the moment. You guys wake him up, I assume. And he finds himself all tied up and he says, "Hey, I'm in charge here. No one ties me up." He says, "What are you doing here? What's going on?" You know, he's a little bit confused, maybe hopefully amnesiac. You know, he's hoping that he didn't remember that he just got his ass handed to him. He's hoping that was a dream.
I love that phrase. That's handed to.
You don't look like you're in charge. You do kind of look like you're tied up and on the floor. You also look rather injured.
Yeah, you know, he looks like what was his last name? Tyler Durden.
Tyler Durden.
After you know, like the first time they see him after he started
Yeah.
Fight Club.
That's a good film. That
Mhm.
fucking hell.
I just loved the last line of the movie. Like hands down, favorite line, like among my top 5 lines of any movie. What does he say? Like, Marla, you met me at a weird time in my life.
Yeah.
And then the buildings blow up.
Actually, it's only the second time you watch that film that you realise how good her performance is.
Oh yeah.
If you think about it, because she's got to play like everyone. I assume everyone's seen that film.
Yeah.
Because she's got to play it where it's acceptable for you to you know what I mean? She's got to play the believability of the Brad Pitt character in the circumstance that he does or doesn't exist. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like, 'cause when you watch it the second time, you realise that you're sort of watching it from a completely different perspective, that she's not the fucking crazy one. When you watch it the first time, she's the crazy one. And when you watch it the second time, she's not. She's the one who's not fucking bonkers. Do you know what I mean? She's
Oh, yeah.
actually reacting to someone who's mad. And it's fucking such a good turnaround, that. It's absolutely genius. And then the other bit of genius is using that Pixies song at the end when it's been an entirely electronic soundtrack all the way through. But when he realizes the minute he realizes what's the true thing that's happening, it goes to like a completely analog like style. You know, the change in the soundtrack in that at that last piece of the film. Just the fact that the whole sound of it changes, not just the type of music. Do you know what I mean? I think it's brilliant. I think it's genius. Flawed, but genius. Anyway.
So you ask him, you know, what do you say? Like, what does this say here? Or, you know, like, where's your main base of operations? Who are you working for? Like, where do you start?
Where is your, so obviously this is one of your bases of operations. Where is the person that you report to and what is their name?
You know, at first he kind of grumbles under his mouth. And acts like he's answered the question. It's kind of an unintelligible answer. So, I don't know how you guys want to deal with that, with him giving you crap.
I've got an idea. Are there any boards in the room?
Yes, lots of boards. There's lots of crates.
Halbjorn's going to pry a board off of a crate, stick the board between this dude's Okay, you've seen Misery, right?
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, no, no,
Oh,
no,
my
no,
God.
no.
I've
Yeah,
seen
he's-
it
he's
about a
gonna-
million
he's
times.
gonna-
I
No,
love
but
it.
now I want to know.
Have you
he's
not seen
gonna-
Misery?
No.
Oh, well. Oh, I wish you hadn't said, because it's a really good film, that. I think
It's a really good
good.
film, and that's a really hard scene to watch.
I know. I've seen that
He's
film so
not
many
gonna
times.
go
it's-
through with it, but hopefully the threat is enough.
Are you
He's
gonna
put
threaten
the
to
board
hobble him?
between the dudes. Yeah.
No.
He's gonna put the board between
No.
the dudes' like heels, and then he's just gonna tap his great mace against
No.
one side of the guy's feet. Like,
No. I don't like it. I don't
and
like
he's,
it.
he's
I
gonna
don't
say,
like it.
try that answer again.
That kind of torture doesn't get you any freaking answers anyways.
Oh,
I don't like it.
they've only just realised that. In this setting, it works.
So he understands what's going on, and he's like, he's like,
Apparently,
I
probably shit anything.
right, a little bit. He lets out a little little shart there. He says, look. I've never. I don't know the name of the person who I work with. I've just he just writes the person, whoever it is, signs all of the letters as as S. Like at the end it just says S. And he says the main base, or like where I check in, where I get all my, like, what do you call it? Like, where do I get my orders from? Is from like a drop box, like on the edge of Summertide. It's like that's all I know about the top of the
Let's take it out.
top of the operation. He's like, he was like, beyond that, I get paid, my needs are met. Some of these slaves sometimes get left behind. Then my other needs are met. And yeah, that's the amount that I question.
Needs,
Well,
huh?
now I'm definitely tempted to let him hobble you.
Yeah, why don't you explain to me like a child? Explain to me your other needs.
Food, water, servitude.
Oh, well.
Can I just set him on fire?
This is your guys' story. You guys drive the narrative.
I want to know what this town says, if it says Summertide on this list, before we set his pants on fire or whatever it is, and chop it and hobble him.
He says, yes, this says Summertide on it.
Right. And I wanted to say the name of this gnome woman and ask him if he knows anything specifically about her. The sixth of the five,
right.
The number 6 of the 6.
Number
right.
6.
Yeah.
So he says, like, he's not, like, he can kind of remember someone fitting that description. He says he thinks that they went to Summertide, but it's as easily possible that, and how he describes it, he says they were used for cannon fodder.
Used for cannon fodder?
Yep.
In what?
Against what?
Not against, but for who?
Okay. For who?
He says the emissary on the other end of the tear.
Oh, goody.
So they're using
Okay.
these slaves to fight against the demons that are coming through the tear?
No, the opposite.
to fight on the side of the.
Well, so if you were to, let's just talk, like meta world here for a second, not meta knowledge, but and like how the world works sort of thing. If you were to kill a person in a certain way, as I'm sure you've seen on monster descriptions before, then you sometimes that dead person is risen as a different thing, right? You guys have all seen this on monsters before. Like, if this
Yeah.
person dies, then they become a zombie under the blah 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 control. You get my point, right? So, what's the fastest way to increase a demon army?
What, deliberately kill people and raise them from the dead to fight on the side of the other side?
Yes.
Oh dear. That's not really playing fair, is it?
No, not at all. But then again, these are fiends, and fiends don't play fair.
Quite fiendish.
Quite fiendish, indeed.
Absolutely. So how often
And
do you get
there's
something?
no way
Oh,
to
sorry.
reverse that.
Are you asking me, or are you asking the dude?
Both?
The slaver doesn't know whether or not it's reversible. The process is
Okay.
reversible. In
Gotcha.
actuality, either there are powerful magic such as wish would be a good example. Besides that, there are depending on how hands-on a deity wants to get, or something or someone of near deity power, how hands-on they want to get, they can fix a person, purify them. Normal methods or like normal magics, the answer is no.
That's what
Basically, you either need wish or someone who can cast wish lots of times without ill effects.
Well, that's
Yeah. Just
Can I
all
ask-
the fun side effects that happen.
the fun side effects.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think one of the side effects from wish, besides the fact that maybe you can never cast it again, is also, doesn't it do like if you fail the check, you get like super fucked. Let's
pretty
see.
sure
Well,
the
it depends what you're using wish for. If you're using wish to just cast any level spell that exists below it, it doesn't. There's no negative effect. It's only if you try to do something outside of that.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna mute
I want-
while I run away from work.
I want to ask him about this Dropbox. And he said a sort of a Dropbox he gets instructions from. How often? When's the next time that you should expect something in that? Is it a regular that you get? Is it like every Tuesday or something at 10 o'clock? Something appears in it.
He says, like the Dropbox is always full, I guess I would say. There's always a job in the job box, in this Dropbox, like an order, I guess is how he says he would put it.
Right.
When he checks, he says it's about a it's about like a 20-day one-way trip. So usually in the Dropbox there's like an order to Summertide. It'll usually have 3 orders in it. 1 to Summertide, 1 to Astrodale, and 1 to the trade states.
Okay. is it worth our while? Well, I mean, it's 20 days of a fucking trip to get there, so it's not really worth our while going sitting by this box to see who drops anything off, is it? Or can we send someone to do that?
You could
Or would it not
hire
be worth it?
someone if that's your question. As far as whether
Yeah.
or not
Oh,
it's
so-
worth,
well,
that's a party question.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm asking the party. Really, I'm asking Juff and John if they what they think.
We should send someone, but I also like to keep in mind that, the jig's probably already up.
Yeah, it will be. It certainly will be in 20 days, won't it?
Yeah.
Like by the time someone could get there, word will be out that line of fucking activity for this group of people that we're investigating has now been shut down because we've kicked the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a ball ache. So what's our next move then?
Well, we process these people, get their statements, get them back to where they need to be, and barring that, we provide them with lodging until they can figure out what to do next. And of course, these two chuckle fucks, we
Hobble and burn.
well, I know that the idea was to make an example of them, but it would sure be a shame if they
Got hobbled
Died.
beforehand.
died resisting arrest,
Do you not think? Well,
But then again,
do
we could probably
you not
pull
think there
more
might be
information
questions
out.
we might need? Sorry, what did you say? Then I was too busy talking.
Here's the thing. As much as I'd love to fuck with these guys, I think we're better off using them, set an example in the city, hang them in public, let people know this shit's
Ooh.
not gonna fly.
Yeah.
And like
But
you
do
were
you
about
not-
to say, we could get more information out of them.
Well, what I was going to say was it may be that there may be a point where we go, oh bollocks, we could ask that guy about this, but we chopped him up.
Yeah.
And had him on a sandwich or whatever it is we do with him. But it might be worth going through the process properly and hanging him, but prolonging that process for long enough to be able to torture him and interrogate him in the meantime when required.
Oh yes, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to keep the ball rolling,
You guys sound more like chaotic evil every day. I love it.
I think torture was pretty acceptable in law enforcement. In this type.
I think it is now. At least in the US.
Well, I mean, I've got to be honest. In certain countries, without pointing anything. No, I think it is probably, yeah. But it wasn't as I don't think it would be frowned upon that much. Wouldn't it?
I lied. Not chaotic evil, lawful evil.
I don't think we should judge them on 21st century Earth.
No, dog,
morals.
lawful good. There's a very thin line between lawful good and lawful evil.
Yeah.
Setting an example of a
Just as long
slaver
as we don't leave
that
any
abuses other
physical
life.
marks on them.
Or we're gonna put a
Hobbing's all
soap
good and
and
well,
little block of soap in a sock and go to town on them.
No, you just need like a towel and copious amounts of water.
Really?
Oh, what are we
What's the water-
waterboarding them?
Yeah.
What do you do with a towel?
So basically, waterboarding is where you put a sack over someone's head or a towel over the face or whatever, and then you
Yeah.
pour water over their face, and it
Yeah, I know that.
simulates drowning, and it's very fucking miserable.
Oh
So
yeah,
hurt.
I know that. Oh, I just thought you meant soak the towel through. I thought, what are you gonna do? Do that whippy thing that you do in the changing room. Like,
gonna
try and whip
whip his
the
bum and
bollocks.
say, "You're gonna whip his bum and say, hey, how's it going, hot cock?" Just make him real uncomfortable.
Actually, that would be a really weird way to torture someone, wouldn't it? They're expecting thumb screws and everything, and all you do is just go strip off. Everyone gets a hole each. I think it's probably psychologically.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And they just have to hop round cupping their
Sure to be
gentleman's
sexually
vegetables,
harassed.
going, ow, ow. Oh God, yeah, that'd be worse if they just started interfering with themselves. Anyway, it's taking a turn, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a really weird fetish. Thank you for exposing us to it.
Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
We accept you anyways.
Oh God. We can choose our torture methods later on if required, anyway, can't we?
Yeah.
But for now, we'll not kill him, just in case we need to question him. And go through, like as Jeff says, do it properly and have him hung in the town hall square or whatever.
Yeah. Push all the alignment shifting onto the people of the city, not ourselves.
I don't even know what alignment everyone is thinking about it.
I'm chaotic good.
Ooh.
I think chaotic neutral.
I just
Chaotic good as well. Huh. That
I
doesn't
don't
sound
remember.
right. We'll just change that to chaotic neutral.
I haven't got my alignment in there.
Harlan, for some reason, I thought you were true neutral. No, Nolan was true neutral.
Yeah.
It's my alignment.
What's my alignment?
Well, not mine. You know what I mean?
Neutral evil.
Got to be, I'm not a massive fan of the alignment thing. Anyway, it's only D&D that has it. And it's a bit weird. It causes more issues than it solves, to be honest. I think.
In some cases, yeah.
I think it's a good guide for NPCs. You know, like if you've got if you're looking at if a DM's looking at like an overall like a published module or whatever, it's a good general guide, but it can be a bit restrictive more than anything, I think.
I usually put one on all the NPCs, even the ones who go with you guys and do battle and stuff. But mostly I put it there so I can remind myself, like that's a note, oh, hey, this is how this guy acts. You know, like
Yeah.
I have specific people in my mind when I think, okay, who's lawful evil, for example, or who's true neutral,
Yeah.
or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's mostly a reminder for me. That's why I don't even, I've never said anything to you guys about it except for as jokes.
Oh no, I think they were sort of a decent tool for, like I say, for DMs, but it is a peculiarity of D&D, the alignment thing. Other games don't have it. Just trying to find mine.
I've seen other games that use similar systems, but they aren't explicitly the same, right?
Yeah.
So have you guys gotten all the information out of here that you want? Is there something more you're looking for or you want to ask them?
I want to
How many
ask some of the prisoners like how they were captured, how they were taken.
So most of the prisoners have oddly enough, most of the prisoners have a similar story for how they were taken. And that is that most of them were taken at night when they were out either alone or in a small group. You know, a few of these people, you know, you have like, you know, maybe two dudes who know each other who are friends, or like husband and wife, or you know, whatever it may be. There are small groups that might know each other individually, but most of these people were plucked at night, and if they were in town in a town that they were plucked from, then they were usually in a spot that was a little shadier or somewhere like discreet. They all talked about being knocked unconscious by some blunt object. Even the people who were taken outside of, like on the road, because some of these people were traveling and then they just got snatched up in the middle of the night. And I would say besides that, they all remember either shortly before getting captured or shortly after waking up after being captured that they felt like, I don't know, I guess I would say like a cold chill. And all of them have this odd brand on their upper right shoulder, on their back. And it looks like, I would say, like a sort of like, I don't know, maybe like a cloud or like squiggly circle lines. I don't know, like an odd shaped circle kind of thing. It's not very sharp image. There's like a circle, and then inside the circle there's an amorphous blob. Not a gelatinous cube, but
Okay. So they all do the slavers or the asshole in charge, do they have any kind of branding on them?
they do not, no. But there's also no like branding tool that you can see that you've been able to find, like searching over the area.
Okay, so I want to ask them where they're doing, like, where's their branding equipment? Like, when did they do this? What?
And the slaver guy like angles his head towards this. I would say it looks almost like a large sticky notepad. And they all have this symbol on the sticky notepad. And he says, like when it comes in contact with flesh, then it like sears on to the body and disappears, but all is left is this mark.
Halbjorn's gonna say that's real interesting. They just
That-
want to rip
that
the
is-
dude's shirt open, pull out a sticky note, and apply it to the guy's chest to see if it works.
And it does. It like visibly, like it makes like a hissing sound almost when it's burning. I would say like like if you iron damp clothes.
Oof. Okay.
Alrighty then.
And it leaves this, like eventually the paper just sort of like crumbles away, and there's just this big mark on his chest. That looks it's the same mark as the ones on all of these slaves, or former slaves, I guess at this point.
Halbjorn's gonna nod his head and smile and say, "Hey, that's good. You didn't lie to us. Is that so hard? Now, tell me what it does."
And he said, he kind of like shrugs his shoulders and he says, I thought it was like a cattle brand. He was like, but I don't know. I received it when I started, like, and if I run low, then I'll leave a note. If I'm starting to run low, then I'll leave a note. And when I go to the Dropbox next, there'll be, like another pad of them.
Hmm.
And now, do you feel any different now that you have that on your skin?
He, thinks for a second. And he says, I guess I would say I feel like maybe someone's watching me, but I don't know, like you guys are here, I'm in pain, you almost hobbled me, like I'm feeling a lot of things at the moment.
Still
So
on the table, by the way. Oh, we haven't had a chance to use it in a while. The Wand of Magic Detection.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll activate that, and I guess one of us could go around the room, see what they can see about the room, about Home Slice on the floor, the edgelord knight-looking dude that's tied up, and the former prisoners, former slaves.
So, the Wand of Magic Detection, you're looking over everything. The two things of magic that you come across are whenever you point it close to what did I say? Whenever you put it close to where their mark is, or like it highlights it, right? So like the mark is highlighted on the people, the brand, as well as the pad itself. Like the pad of brands.
Interesting. Oh God.
What school of magic is? Are they?
Divination.
Thought so.
And Harlan, you have a break curse spell, don't you?
Yes, I can cast Greater Restoration.
Do you think that would work on this particular deal?
I mean, what exactly were the deets?
It's a divination.
That's not quite what I meant. Like, what exactly are we trying to break? I missed this. I was talking to my wife.
Oh.
earlier.
The prisoners have been marked with this
They've been branded.
yeah,
By the notebook
branded.
paper.
Thank you.
Does it look okay, and it is magical?
It is magical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Divination.
So that's easy enough to get. Yeah, should easy peasy get removed with Greater Restoration. I would need a long rest because I don't have it prepared right now, but just didn't mean to do that. Oh no, I do have it prepared. So I could remove. How many of them are there? Because I could do 2, and Cielo could probably do a couple.
There are. You mean like on all the people? There's 50 or so former slaves.
That'll take a minute.
I could do 2 a day. Cielo could do 2 a day. It would take 15 days.
That's 50. Oh,
We can probably recruit
Delos,
other
sorry, I missed
spellcasters
you.
to help.
2, 4, okay.
So here's another idea. Is we recruit other spellcasters to help, but we prioritize the people who live in the city first, because the people who don't live in the city will be under our roof, and we can keep an eye on them in case anything happens.
It's an idea.
It's a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
Would it be quicker just to get a tattoo done over the top of them?
That's not how magic works.
I know.
And I'm only
That's
like
absolutely.
3/4 magic girl.
Yeah.
You ought to know this.
You're not even 3/4. You're barely even
yeah.
1/4. You
Well,
are a
fucking
sugar
rub it in.
baby.
Damn. No, he's like 10% sugar baby right now. Less than that, actually.
Oh my god. Oh. You guys make
Sugar
my brain
baby.
hurt sometimes.
So is this branding just a way of branding them? I realise it's magic, but is it just a way of branding them, or is there more to it?
No, he said it feels like it's watching them, and the school of magic that it's from is divination.
Divination, yeah, I've got that bit. So it feels like it's watching them.
So
it's
that
like,
would make me
like a
suspect.
magical tracking device of some description. If they die, they'll
Yeah.
probably automatically turn into something else, wouldn't it? Do you think?
I don't think so, but
Well, not so much automatically, but I mean they're being watched, presumably.
yeah.
Whatever's watching them might know that they died, and then because the whole process seems to, or part of the process, oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm fucking jumping to conclusions. Forget it.
Yeah, there probably have to be like necromancy or transfiguration attached to the brand as well, if that was the case.
So it's going to take 2 weeks to get rid of all these. It would take 2 weeks to do this, wouldn't it?
Yeah, roughly, unless
Only-
we find some extra casters.
Yeah. So if you got another caster who could do 2 of them.
Here's another question. How do they move their slaves out of the building when they're shipping them out? Or has that been covered already?
No, he the slaver guy points his head towards one of the crates. And I assume one of you looks in the crates.
Sure.
So Albion, you look in the crates and there are just a fuck ton of chains.
Okay. Does the wand of magic detection say anything about those?
No, they look like ordinary chains.
So you chain them up and
Lead them
Do
out
what?
in the dark of the night.
super sophisticated situation you got going on here.
Insight check.
Inside check away.
Oh, why do I never take this? Because my wisdom's always a 1. Oh, pardon me.
So he seems to be telling at least the majority of the truth. Maybe there's like a detail that he's leaving out, or maybe there's like a specific method, that he's not describing here. But as far as the people going out in the chains, Under the Cover of Darkness is all pretty legit in its wording.
All right. Well, how everyone's going to give one of his feet a love tap with his great mace and say, "Listen, you might as well give us everything you've got, because I can make your life very, very fucking painful."
And he says, like, okay, so, like if there's a storm or a disturbance or no one around, like, it's not necessarily at night, and usually we move groups, like a big group of 50 like this, we usually move in either 2 or 3 groups. So it won't happen all at once, it'll happen over a couple days. But
All right.
the chains part is real. The moving them out in just chains, like, we don't do anything special there.
Would anybody else like to do an insight check just to make sure he's not still bullshitting?
I will give
Okay.
it a whirl. Oh, wow.
Even I can't roll for shit with a +9. How is Pete our best roll with a +2?
Well,
So you all believe him to be telling the truth now. Like, he's described that there are other ways, like, not technically under the cover of dark per se, but like they're not seen, like people don't see them. That's the whole point of the location, like being on the edge of town, on the bad edge of town, where no one's gonna snitch anything out. Seems to be correct.
All right. Well, is that all the questions y'all can think of?
Okay.
so. For now, anyway.
So the
yeah.
headquarters seems to be out of Summertide. Prisoners are apparently taken out in chains, non-magical chains. Has anybody? When was the last shipment sent out, and what was its destination?
He says the last shipment was he starts like you can see behind, because I imagine his hands are tied behind his back and one of you is behind him, I assume. You can see him like counting on his fingers, like backwards behind his back, and he's like, it's been about 2 weeks since the last shipment went out. And he says, and usually all 3, he said, except for the Summertide shipment, like they all went out 2 weeks ago. Like, these are all people that we've collected in the last 2 weeks. He says the Summertide shipment always happens the same, like when we go back to Summertide to the drop box.
So you take your Summertide shipment with you when you go.
Yes.
Okay. And when were you going to Summertide again?
And he says we'll leave for Summertide again in 5 days.
Except you're not.
Well, we would have left to Summertide in 5 days.
What
here's
did
an
you
idea.
need to
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead? Oh, all right. So, what did you need to finish off this next shipment before you go to Summertide?
He said, like we weren't waiting on anyone. We're just waiting on like like a time frame.
Hmm.
Like there's always a certain amount of like the the shipment that goes to Astrodale goes out first, and then the shipment going to the trade states goes second. And then once we finished both of those, it's with an A, it's on the map. It's
Okay.
also affectionately referred to as the tear, as the tear happened very, very, very close to it. It's with an A, though.
Oh, there it is.
He says, and then after we've completed both of those, then usually we take our stuff to prepare, and we move along our way.
Does the name Shaw mean anything to you?
He kind of looks puzzled, and he's like, I mean, he's one of the like guild faces here in town, right? He was like, I don't like, besides that, I don't know. Like, I have a working knowledge of the major people in town, and I know he's one of them, but that's it. Like, we don't have any dealings with him. He doesn't deal in slavery.
All right, insight check again.
Nah, he's definitely telling the truth. Despite how how should I say this? Despite how sticky of a character Shaw is, the guy is being honest. It doesn't look like Shaw deals in human trade,
Okay,
humanoid
so-
trade.
As far as this guy understands.
As
anyway.
far as this guy understands, yeah.
So here's an idea. An augment of the idea I had earlier. We
Quarter him instead of hobbling him.
we get these people out here under the cover of darkness.
Oops.
We attend the meeting at the warehouse. Then in 5 days' time, we take this guy. Oh wait, no, it's a 2-week trip, isn't it?
No, it's a 1-day trip because I can teleport us there.
Oh yeah. Well, the idea I had was we take this guy and have him pretend that everything's hunky dory. He's going to Summertide as usual, but instead of slaves, we hire a bunch of mercenaries.
Yeah.
And
Why hire a
I'm
bunch of
thinking
mercenaries and we can just use ourselves?
the mercenaries are going to pose as slaves.
Yes, that's what we would do. Jesus.
Well, I don't know. Are there
Well-
50 of us? There are
I mean-
4.
Sure. We could just throw in some extra rabble, like ourselves and some rabble.
Well, hang on. If the slaves were being transported, would there not be people looking after the slaves under the transportation, like guarding them?
Are
That is
you
a good question.
asking me
Because-
or the slaver?
Well, just from the point of view that if there's let's say there's 50 people being transported, there's possibly 4 or 5, or there might be 4 people who are guarding them. And I would suggest it might make sense for us to pose as the guards rather than the slaves, because otherwise we've got the actual guards with us pretending to be fucking slaves. It doesn't put us in a particularly strong position in the. Do you know what I mean? We might the whole thing might just fucking backfire on us, and all of a sudden we really are slaves. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good
Yup.
campaign arc.
I can't imagine us getting turned into slaves because remember, I can turn into an animal and then set everything on fire. So it's not like
Yeah, but
slavers are
Can
so
your-
below our stature. You have to
Yeah.
remember, we're high level
Oh,
adventurers. Slavers are like
okay.
second level adventurer problem.
yeah, but okay, but we'd have to hire people to pretend to be the guards of these slaves, though. Obviously, we'd have to have the whole thing boxed off, wouldn't we?
And normally I would agree with you about the slavers, but these slavers are fueling teenage angst's army. In case you missed that bit.
No, I did miss that bit. They're still slavers. They're like, yes, he has stronger people working for him, but these are like his low level shitty lackeys. I'm sure some of them are a little stronger, but I don't think like the run of the mill guys that are just going to be showing up to pick up some slaves are going to be those people.
Didn't we lock some of them in a cage? Who did we lock in the fucking boxes?
Slavers.
Yeah.
We could we could go and ask. We could do with asking them if we could have a look at their character sheets. So we know exactly what we're dealing with.
Commoner.
Are they?
They are
Are they pretty much
cultists. I use the cultist stat block.
Yeah.
They're
Well-
level 2.
So basically, right, if we got some sort of ordinary, like, just some ordinary Muppets who we could hire to pretend to be like them, and then we hide in the boxes, then is that the idea?
We wouldn't be in boxes. We would be chained up.
Yeah, but I thought they were
Or
chained into
looking
these
like we
boxes.
were chained up.
Can I finish
that-
pitching my idea?
Yeah, sorry, go on. But I'm just worried about the fact that if we're going to pretend to be slaves, we're not going to have any of our weapons or any of our gear with us. We're going to be
Okay.
unarmed.
I mean, hide some weapons on your person.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Halbjorn, where you gonna fit that big great
Where's he gonna
mace?
fucking stick his mace, yeah.
Right up Samuel's ass.
I was just about to say the jail spot.
Well,
Adds 1d4 necrotic damage, or poison damage, whatever, for like 1d4 rounds. There we go. After removal. Anyway.
Okay. So what we do is you put all of our weapons in the shared backpack, and then I turn into a monster or turn into something like a bear, scare them all, shift out, and then pull the weapons out of the shared backpack. Fucking big brain.
with a big grin, did you say?
No, fucking big
Big-
brain.
Oh, big.
Okay. I lost track of where my pitch was. God damn it. And anyway, the idea was to hire mercenaries to accompany the shitbag while we take care of big boy shit. These mercenaries investigate and find out what the hell is going on. Then they report back to us.
Alright.
Assuming the
You could-
mercenaries don't
or-
become slaves.
Well, the whole
Hmm.
procession is going to be mercenaries. The slaves, like, they can have shit hidden under their, I assume they're not just going to walk these people out in fucking irons. Like, they're probably going to be cloaked or, like, wearing cloaks or something like that, you know?
Quite possibly.
And, you know, they can have concealed weapons, concealed armor.
That makes sense.
Or we could just nix the idea altogether and let whatever loose end this is go untied. And hope. it
No, I
doesn't bite us
definitely
when
want
we
to.
have
I
to.
definitely want to tie this loose end up. This is why I'm here. Ultimately, like for Harlan, this is part. The whole reason to stop this shit is to reduce the power of his army, to have them stop fucking sending poor bastards up to get themselves killed, basically. So
Respectful.
stopping. This is definitely one of the things where that's happening, right? Where they're like, "Oh, the slavers are just capturing poor bastards and selling them off to Okay, Sleetha murdered.
So yeah, we send armed mercenaries instead of a caravan of slaves.
Yeah. We send ourselves. I would say we send ourselves and the mercenaries.
All right. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. Normally the first choice would be to get mercs from the trustworthy people in town. I'm blanking on his fucking name for some reason.
Alistair?
Alistair,
Alistair.
yes.
The
I mean-
lawful good.
I mean, at this point, we have some amount of. I mean, we have some amount of like regulars who are probably working for us at this point, right? So we.
You've hired 2 so far.
Two mercenaries.
2 mercenaries.
What about all those guys who got killed and we brought them back to life?
They
They
still
always-
work
they
for
always-
Alistair.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
don't we hire contracts from Shaw's people? Maybe even have Shaw himself
Whoa.
come along. Now, listen. The less people he has just milling about is the less people he has to get up to mischief.
Oh God.
And also in doing this, we can test his mettle, see if he's really willing to work with us. Like he said he was. Still don't like him. Still want him gone. But he could be useful to him in the meantime.
This sounds really fucking risky. This getting Shaw's, but this is like a double bluff inside a double bluff somehow. I like the idea of pretending to be the slaves, but
I'd also like to add that if we hired, I don't even know how many people Alistair has available to be hired, but pretty sure that hiring 50 plus people would put a serious dent in his forces. And that wouldn't bode well for the city, I don't think.
Well, we don't. Okay, so here's the question: How is it always 50 slaves?
You asked the
That's how
slaver
we
that?
had ready.
Yeah, like how? Like if they showed up with a low amount, what's a low amount?
The slaver explains not all of these 50 were going to Summertide. He says normally the
Ah.
Summertide order is only about 10 to 15.
Oh, okay.
so we
That's
could
much
just
more
get 6 and take the 4 of us.
Yeah.
I still think we should take those 6 that we brought back to life.
I think they've been through enough. Leave them alone.
I think they owe us a favour. They owe their lives to us.
They already gave their lives once, didn't they?
I know we gave it them back. Most people don't get that chance.
What
Maybe
is
not,
this?
okay.
It's you saved my life and now I am forever in your debt. Now it's more like now I saved your
Yeah.
life and you're stuck with me now. Try and find out why the universe wanted
Yeah.
me dead.
Well, with the lower numbers, we could certainly go with Alistair's people, but I don't know. I'd still like to take shaw out on a test drive. Because if he
Really?
proves to be problematic, we could always just kill him. One,
We could-
you know,
We could
one
take
less
3 of each.
percent.
Yeah, that would be that sounds like a great recipe for infighting. Bickering.
We'd get to know where they stand, though, wouldn't we? Or not?
Well, like I said, that's the whole idea between hiring Shaw's people and again possibly Shaw. See where they stand.
I don't know.
Are they going to
Well,
be true mercenaries and do as they're told for the money they're paid? Are they going to be petulant teenagers and whine and bitch the whole way? Or are they going to try to stab us in the back? At which
That's why
point,
it might. That's why it
Fair
might
game.
be an idea to have 2 groups of 3 who don't have any allegiance to each other, so that if any of them do try anything, they can't outnumber us, because they would be outnumbering. Like 3 people would have to take on 6. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like take. I don't know. Maybe not.
Who's the third party then?
Well, there's us. There's 3 of us, isn't there? 4 of us,
Yes.
and then 2 lots of 3 from 2 different people. 3 of Alistair's men and 3 of Shaw's. So if Shaw's men turn against us, they're going to turn against the 4 of us plus the 3 of Alistair's. Or if Alistair's men turned against us, they'd turn against the 4 of us plus the 3 of Shaw's.
Or if all 6 of them turned against you, then it would be 6 on 4.
Well, the thing is, if all 6 of them turn against us, we're fucked. But it would have meant if we took 6 of one or 6 of the other, we would have been fucked anyway. Do you know what I
We
mean?
would smash them like overripe watermelons. What are you talking about?
Well, all right. Well, let's get. Well, I'm not bothered then.
Actually, the more that you talk about it, Pete, the more I like the idea of 3 of each.
Oh. It's kind of an insurance.
Since it's pretty well
But-
established now that like not Shaw, but Alistair is our friend, and like his people are loyal. So we have no indication that, Shaw's people aren't loyal to him, but they're definitely not the
The
kind
thi-
of people we like,
Yeah.
typically.
Well, we've had a sample size of 2. Shaw himself and that guy that grabbed Aylin's hand.
Yeah. That was fun.
So I'd like to point out how everyone would have done that for any. Like, don't get fresh with my friends, motherfucker.
Jeff, what's your thoughts on this?
So my thoughts are, honestly, I like the idea of. I don't think it's going to be super feasible to get an even number of them from 2 different sources. I mean, what do we really gain using Shaw's men over Alistair's men?
You want to see if they'll comply with the money. Is that correct? Is that what I'm getting?
We're taking their measure. Shaw says that they'll work with us for the right price. I want to test that theory out.
Well, I guess before we figure that out, we should see. Well, here's what we should do. First, let's go talk to Alistair and see what what it would cost for his mercenaries, and then see what Shaw's are. Because I get the feeling Shaw's prices are going to be much worse. So if that's the case, like fuck it. Like I don't think it's worth it. If it's going to cost us, if it costs us 2 gold a day for Alistair's men and 500 gold a day for Shaw's men, right? Like it's not worth testing.
Yeah. See,
That's a good point.
the only issue I've got with using Shaw's men on this particular, I think it's a good idea for us to test the water with Shaw's men, right? To find out and I also think this plan's a good idea for us to basically pretend to be slaves, etc., and hire some people. I just don't necessarily think that this mission is the one to test the water on Shaw's men. Do you know what I mean?
What would you suggest then?
Sorry? So, I don't know,
What would you
something really
suggest?
simple, just some fucking retcon thing. I don't know, just something simple, something more basic. I don't know, something where there's no inherent jeopardy. That it just feels a bit risky, this, to add in extra problems. Maybe not.
That's what they call a difficulty tweak.
All right.
I want to ask
Wait,
the asshole that we have been talking at. I would like to ask him, how many guards typically does he take with him when he goes to take the slaves in and check the Dropbox?
He he says, usually I go, and the 4 men upstairs. go. He was like, the jailer stays here by himself, and the jailer's like the strongest, the strongest dude in our little operation. He's stronger than I am. So he's fine by himself.
Okay.
Insight check.
Inside away.
Just insight check everything he says. Skadoosh, a 6.
So you definitely get the impression that physically stronger would be correct. The jailer is the physically strongest person in their little group. It does seem like he only takes 5 dudes, himself and 4 other dudes.
So here's my next question. When they go to do this drop, are they expecting the exact same 5 people every time, or are they just expecting this guy?
They're just expecting me. He was like, the 4 dudes, he was like, sometimes I bring 4. He was like, it's just a long trip to Summerdale or to Summertide. So that's why, always bring me and 4 other dudes. He was like, but realistically, the job's been done before. With when this operation first started, it was just me and 1 other guy. They're mostly, the Dropbox is mostly the people who must watch the Dropbox are just expecting me. Like, I'm the only one for sure that they know is coming.
Okay. So then we just need to get him to cooperate, and then we can make that work. So realistically, we need about him plus, let's say, 15-ish other people, or 14-ish other people. So there's 4 of us. We need 10 people, right? So that's where we're at. We need to hire 10 mercenaries for a 1-day trip. Well, this would be a day there, and then we send them back the next day, realistically.
Buster. Stop.
Yeah, I mean that seems doable. We show up with 10 people. We show up with 10 mercenaries pretending to be slaves. We get those. We flag. We get a hold of the dudes who were there to do the pickup. Learn more about the inside working, and then start chasing down who's actually doing this shit. And we've just basically cut off we've cut off a limb of this army.
Hopefully it's not a Hydra limb.
That's why we have Harlan. He specializes in burning things.
That sounds like a fun plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the meantime, how are we going to get the marks off of these people, or what are we going to do about that? Because they're currently apparently being watched.
Well, we talk to so I think we talk to Ciela, see if she knows anyone else who can do greater restoration, and then to start curing them all.
Mhm.
Now this is the conundrum. If they're all being watched, aren't they going to? So it's the slaves who have the marks, right? I'm not misunderstanding this.
No, the slaves and now the slaver.
Okay, so that Interesting. So if the slaver has the mark, don't they know that we're talking to him?
No, Halbjorn put the mark on the slaver just now.
Oh, that was a mistake.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Greater Restoration on the slaver. We need him to not have that.
Okay. So you cast Greater Restoration on him, and it just fades away. You can see like a faint mark of where it was on his chest, but it's gone.
Okay, so we need to talk to Ciela, and we just need to find a bunch of high-level casters so we can just run Greater Restorations on all these people. So it's basically where we're at.
Okay.
Or Ciela might be, privy to some like stronger mass form of this that may or may not exist.
So take everyone out and away, and then
Well, no, because they know they're being watched. So what I would say is we just kind of got to leave them where they are for the next little bit. Well, Okay, so we need to send someone to go talk to Ciela, tell her to find every caster in the city capable of casting Greater Restoration. Something like that. And then we get them all down here and
Don't
cure
you dare.
everyone. What?
No, sorry. My dog just acted like he was going to jump up on my bed. Sorry.
so who's gonna go to Ciela then and ask her?
I can. I'll go.
Yeah, I mean, who can get there the fastest? Because that's really like how. I'm assuming it's only going to take a couple minutes for someone to run across town to talk to her. Sorry,
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Didn't we get sending stones? We were talking about sending stones recently. Did that ever happen?
I don't think so.
Fucking Christ.
Aelin?
Okay.
Aelin and Samuel have a pair of sending stones. They call them Rooney Rocks because they're
Yep.
savages.
Okay, we need to get a sending stone and give it to Ciela. Like, legitimately. She's the one person in Alistair. We need ones from those are the two people we have to talk to all the fucking time.
You have two sending stones, and both of them are held by the party.
Yeah, we need like 4, and we need 4. One to give to Alistair that we can hold, one to give to Ciela that we can hold. So we need to work on that.
That's true. It's no point
We're
having two
halfway
of them
there.
with people that are largely stood next to each other.
Well, look, hold on. I'm not saying we shouldn't keep a spare set of sending stones because it's eventually, sometimes we might have to split up for some fucking stupid reason. But for most use cases,
Yeah.
okay.
Correct.
So yes, so we need someone to go talk to Ciela, and when we're there, tell her we need a couple sets of sending stones and figure out where we can find some. But hurry back.
Okay. I will
Who's
go
going
and
doing
talk
that?
to
All right.
Ciela
Okay. Yeah.
so that Aelin, who has a Rooney Rock, can talk to Samuel if needs be
Yeah.
while she is running errands across the city.
What would it take to teach a cantrip to a non-magic user?
A cantrip to a non-magic user.
Yeah.
A skilled teacher and a number of whatever cantrip it would be in spell scroll form. A large number. I
So they would
couldn't.
need spell scrolls.
Yeah. A large number of spell scrolls for whatever cantrip that you would be teaching them. If it's one person with a good teacher, maybe 20 of that cantrip. If it's a bad teacher, maybe 30.
So then what would be the role to make that attempt?
Oh, I have that list. I have that.
So what I'm trying to get at is Halbjorn has the message cantrip. I think that's what it's called. And that might be
There's a
good
pretty
thing
short
to,
range on
set.
message.
Yeah, it's like 120 feet, but it goes around walls and shit.
True. Most messages go around shit though. It's not really like a big blocker unless there's like a large pile of it. So
It would
Who
still
is it
be
you
good to
want
have
to-
sending stones, but this could be a decent alternative if we have the downtime.
it's fair.
Who is it you want to learn it?
As it stands now, which once you establish something more than your little establishment that you have now, and you make full use of the old Lich's Tower, then it would become exceedingly easier depending on your choices when rebuilding that or taking that over, remodeling it, how you want to look at it. The save that someone would roll is an intelligence save with a DC equal to 11.
And is that the teacher or the TT or both?
The teachee,
Okay.
Teachee.
The learner,
Okay.
the learner.
the student.
I was going to say, why? There's some perfectly adequate English words.
Yeah, I don't want to fucking hear it.
He's from Ohio. What do you expect?
Teachee.
I said teachee, and I'm from Nebraska.
That's
Well,
not.
I said it first.
It's not
Fucking
much
hell.
better. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Nebraska,
you wanna know
Ohio.
what
What's the
plural
real
of compass
difference here?
is?
Amount of cornfields.
It's Kumpai.
Oh no, never mind. Okay.
In my defense, I've now been up for 23 hours. So,
Well,
Ooh.
I suppose that is an adequate excuse.
yeah, really?
For Ohio brain.
hey, at least you guys have a good football team.
When they feel like it.
Ohio State kicks the shit. Anyway, that's a whole nother.
Well,
Bag of
until
words.
Michigan comes along, then they're like, eek. Scary man.
That's a different discussion.
Hmm.
But yes, I imagine for just putting that thought out there, depending on what you choose to do with the old Lich's Tower, I can imagine learning spells being significantly easier.
That would be lovely. Jubbly.
So are you guys doing anything in particular why Aylin's gone or no? This is going to take her about 15, 20 minutes there, 15, 20 minutes back.
So I think we should.
Dependent on traffic. Sorry.
Yeah, depending on traffic. She has to cut through the market.
Oh yeah, I want to minimize interacting with people just till we can start getting them cured. So.
Halbjorn's gonna strip the knight naked. Well, to his
What?
skills.
What?
He's gonna disarm and disarmor him. Like cracking open a delicious lobster.
The
God.
jailer, you mean?
Yeah, that guy. Soul Knight person.
Yes. So as you crack him open, and then I'll switch over to Aylin and see what she's doing over there. So as you pull off his armor and whatnot, why don't you make a Constitution check?
Check or save.
Save. Constitution save.
Oh
Jesus
God,
Christ.
what has he done?
He's fine. He has plenty of Constitution. You guys were all worried. I've never seen Halbjorn roll lower than like a 20.
You guys were worried for me? That's so sweet.
I was worried for us.
Yeah, we're not worried for you. We're worried about what happens when this bad shit happens and sprays all over all of us.
Yeah,
So-
I thought he was going to be like, he's going to have an exploding cod piece or something. We're all fucking, the building collapses.
What if he possessed Halbjorn? Well, just banish him. Anyway,
So as you're pulling off this armor, there's like it's hot to the touch, is how I would describe it. And as you're pulling it off, you notice on the inside there's a lot of like rune work on the inside. And what languages do you know?
Common and Draconic and Elvish.
Okay. Anybody else know any other languages? Not
Many,
Aelin.
but I'm
Not
knocked out.
Aelin.
Lene knows almost all of them. She's not
Let me
here.
look at my
Oh no,
language.
but we can. Oh no, I was going to say we can tell her what it says down the fucking.
I know
video.
Draconic, Druidic, Giant, and Orc.
Samuel, anything cool you know?
No, Samuel can mainly talk bollocks, but nothing that hasn't already been said.
Okay, so that
Common, Elvish, Halfling. That's it. Yeah, and thieves count. That's it. Yeah, no. nothing useful.
there's I guess maybe this will be more intriguing then. So Halbjorn, you look at the rune work and having seen the language enough, you're like 95% sure this is infernal written on the inside. You can't tell what it says, but it's like all over the inside of his armor. You can like disarming him. You can see it like on his weapon, on his shield, on the inside of his helmet. It's like everything inside, right? And you can see now that you've peeled it off and peeled off all of his armor, there's like, I would say it looks like his veins. You can see his veins, some of them at least, like that are closer to his heart. And there's like but instead of seeing like a blue or like even a red, they're like dark black streaks emanating from his heart in the veins. Now, while you ponder that, Aelin, you go and see Ciela. What do you say to her? Well, like, what do you tell her? I guess.
Greetings, basically. It's your everyday polite greeting and ask her how is she, because it's polite to start that way.
And she says, I'm fine. How are you? Like, I've been so busy, compiling our adventures and, documenting everything we've learned, and everything that Nina pulled out of the tower already, like, like I've had work up to my, like above my head all, since we've been out, like, what are you guys up to? How are you and what are you up to?
I'm doing okay, and well, we found a slaver's den, and we located some people before they were shipped out, and it seems like the most fascinating thing there. I could always be wrong, but it seems like they're murdering these people that they are taking and turning them into minions.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we have about 50 people in the basement of a building on the other side of town, with a whole bunch of branding marks on them. Magical tracking symbols, basically, is what it seems like to me. Of course, I don't know much about magic. It's not my bag. But Ireland says that they can be taken care of with the Greater Restoration, and we've got about 50 people that we would like to get these marks taken off of. Do you know a whole bunch of casters that can do greater restoration so that we can get this just taken care of in a snap? Or close to? No longer than a few days, hopefully.
She thinks to herself for a minute, and she like scratches her head, and she's like, I don't know of any, like a large amount of casters. She says, but she says, why are you using greater restoration? She says, did you try remove curse or dispel magic? Like I could possibly find, like I could possibly round up throughout the city enough people who could do that.
We didn't.
We didn't try those. But I don't see why those wouldn't work. I don't know. Magic is not my deal. I was the one that wasn't in the process of asking a whole bunch of questions, so I came to find out and have a chat with you.
We don't have a remove cursor. We do have a dispel. I can dispel magic though.
Okay.
Presumably, you're going to really rock that information back to us, I suppose.
Yes, I would like to do that.
So she says, Ciela, and I would say like touches your shoulder, tells you to ask, because she sees she recognizes what Sending Stone is. So she says, hey, ask them to try dispel magic or remove curse instead. She was like, because if we can get around that, she was like, I could put out a bolo, we can have enough people, and we could probably have this done in, like a few hours.
Sweet. So I send that message off to Samuel to ask him if they can use dispel magic.
I'll
Okay.
try it.
So you used spell magic on another one of these. Like you get one of the former slaves, kind of prisoners at this point.
And captured.
So do you get one of them and you try to dispel magic on one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get someone to volunteer, and they come up and you cast dispel magic, and miraculously the this brand goes away, and brand goes away. Everything looks good. I'm assuming you tell her, Samuel responds back. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Samuel just realised what's happened. It's worked. Spell magic. Sorted.
The game of telephone continues, and I inform Ciela that according to my cohorts on the other side of town, dispel magic did work.
She's like, that's perfect. She was like, I could put out, we could, do a quick hiring of like a number of mages in town. Like, she's like, how, like, does that sound like a good idea? She was like, I don't know enough people in town that we could, burn through, enough for all this. But do you, do you want to authorize me to use some funds to hire some people? Like I said, in a couple hours we could get this done. She was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what a good price would be, to offer to people to come and do this. I'm not super involved with your guys's business. Like I don't know what you will. What do you think?
So here's what I can say. I can remove 9 of these myself. Cielo can remove an equal amount. So we can remove 18 of them with just her and I. So, well, actually, no. Then I have the ring, which lets me cast more Dispel Magic. So one moment.
I have gotten a message
I can
that we
do-
might need fewer people than necessary than initially believed. So please
I can do
hold.
at least 10 of these myself.
Okay, so
So
you're
how
at
many are we total?
19. You've done well. Is that 19, or is that 10 including the one you just did, or 10?
That would be, it would be 9. I can do 10, including the one I just did.
Okay,
in
so
a day.
Yes.
so you've got
So
18, and then
how many can Cielo do?
there's 49 people left to go. So you need
31 more.
yeah.
So let's assume that most of the casters we're going to get are going to be at most. So for every 3rd level caster, we can move 3. For every 4th level caster, we can remove 6.
Third level caster can't cast
Yeah,
third
but
level spells.
I meant
Can-
every caster who can cast 3rd level spells. Not
Okay.
Yeah. Can right, and I'm not saying this to be sort of stupid and sarcastic and whatever, but right, can we not just find a couple of casters and leave the slaves with them in, for want of a better phrase, quarantine for a couple of days, and they just work through the numbers?
We could.
Like, we don't necessarily need to source.
Well, yeah, because so
little
here's the thing: we could do it between today and tomorrow. We could do it all, or almost all of it, with just CL and I. Right? We could do it in 3 days with just CL and I.
Yeah, but I mean that ties up. We're basically tied up for 3 days then.
But we don't really have anything going on for the next 3 days, right? We're just sort of like, and we've got meetings. So when is our meeting with Nos? How far away is that meeting?
12 more days. Let me look.
Oh well, we've got 3 days to burn then anyway.
That was my point. Is we could just burn the 3 days cleansing people and chilling and doing a little bit of like in town stuff. And then once that's done, we could go have our meeting with the slave fuckos, and then we could go and while we're waiting, we could like hire people and all that stuff. And then in 12 days, we could go have the fucking meeting with Dick Brains.
That's undead dick brains to you.
Look, I don't care if they're alive or dead. They've got a dick for brains.
So is that the solution then? So do you just ask Ciela? Does Ciela have Dispel Magic? We're assuming.
I think so, but let me double check.
She
Just find out
doesn't, but
Well-
she does have greater restoration.
Okay, so then we could do. She could do 3. I can do 9 a day. So we could do 11 more today, 12 more tomorrow. There'd be 23. Or no, there'd be 24 done out of 51. Fuck yeah, we're gonna need to find another caster.
Why?
Because we need to have this done in 5 days, and we're not gonna have it done in 5 days if it's just her and I.
Oh,
Or no, we'd finish on the morning of the 5th day.
well, either way up, we don't need half a dozen casters. It's one caster, isn't
No.
it, max?
We would ideally, I would say 2 more. 2 more would make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I would ask Ciela if she knows somebody who does have a Dispel Magic spell, and if they would like to, 1 or 2 persons with Dispel Magic, and if they would like to hang out with us for a couple of days.
We're the big heroes.
Hold on.
Casting a whole lot of Dispel Magics.
Ooh, nope. Also, no. There are a also no. And hold on. Maybe. Okay. So, there's one caster she knows who can cast Dispel Magic. And nope, not strong enough. Oh, he should have now, wasn't he? Let's see, when does he get level 3 slots? Anyway, that's
6th level.
no. I was looking at Alistair because that would be remove curse would be in his wheelhouse or dispel magic either way. But he doesn't have 3rd level spells. Okay,
Ah.
so she knows of one caster who can cast dispel magic. That she could call and maybe get like a favor for, and that like they could come, but she doesn't like without going and finding out through like putting up a posting. She doesn't know anyone like right offhand. That's why she suggested posting it somewhere, and like hiring, outsourcing.
Yes, that is. Wait a second. That's a good idea. Okay.
I don't know that I still have. I think when I bought my new computer, I didn't save the document that has the stats for my ring anymore because I can't find it. Do you still have it by chance, Dale?
Yes, I always do.
I assume so. I generally I thought I saved a copy to my Google Drive, but I did not.
I always do. That way I can never get out of hand too much. Who are we kidding? Let's see here. Is it in here? Oh crap, why did I do that? Because my wife doesn't have Adobe, so it has to open up in Microsoft Edge, you piece of crap PDFs.
Have you tried changing your default program in the system settings?
That sounds awfully hard labor.
That is a good wisdom.
Okay. So, Ring of the Elder Branch, you're looking at magical properties, purification. You can cast Dispel Magic and remove Curse from this ring. After a short rest, you regain the use of one of these 2 spells. After a long rest, you regain the use of both spells.
So I can cast 8. So 8. So let me do math here. So I can do 12, 13 a day. I can do 13 myself a day. Ciela can do 3. That's 16. So we need like one person who can do a couple, maybe for like 1 day or 2 days, and then it'd be good.
She says, like Ciela said, there's someone I know who would do it, but they wouldn't take payment in the form of money. They're a good person, but they're super wealthy, so money doesn't really mean anything to them. But having the favor of a group of strong adventurers would, suit this person. Like, so they might do it on a favor. She was like, but, like, I'm not super close to this person, so keep that in mind as well.
All right, guys, tell me what you think about this plan of involving a wealthy person who has no use of money because they already have all their own money that might want a favor from us.
And they're a good person. They're a good person, Ciela says. And that means
And
a
that
lot
they are-
because Ciela does not, like, Ciela is a decent judge of character.
And Ciela insists that they are a good person. I take this as an indication that they are, in fact, a good person.
No objections.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Well, well, I mean, we can always suss it out, right? We can talk to the person, figure out what they'd want to help us.
Right.
They might just want some loving, you know?
Halbjorn's always willing to help. He's always willing to offer some sweet loving.
Yeah.
He's willing to take the L in any way possible sometimes.
Yeah, and what an L that would be.
It is like your official role in the party, right? Like I'm the magical girl. Sam's the fearless leader. You're the guy who takes the L.
So then,
Or
what
in
is
this
Aelin?
case,
Aelin
Comic
is the
relief.
Swiss Army knife.
She is the Swiss Army knife. Oh, just what a cute little Swiss Army knife she is.
you know that means she can stab you, right?
Yeah, oh well.
And saw, and can open, and screw, and wine cork, and
The screwing falls into my jurisdiction, thank you very much. Butt out.
no, I meant screw as in like screwing in a screw.
Sure you
That was
did.
Halbjorn's joke.
Sure you did.
I mean, I don't think that there was a condom equipped last time I opened a Swiss Army knife, so
I don't think you're using the right kind of Swiss Army knives. That's the problem here.
got it. It was an off-brand. That's what the problem was.
If your Swiss Army knife doesn't come with like 6 sex toys, I don't think it's a Swiss Army knife. in its training in.
Oh my lord.
And at least 2 pieces of chocolate.
That's the kind of thing that should be on a Swiss Army knife, because what with them being a neutral country, they don't really need any fucking tools that are. Do you know what I mean? They just sit around fucking around, don't they?
Why do you think there's a wine opener?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and a nail file and
And a
tweezers.
nail
That's
file.
it.
That exactly. Yeah, when you think about it, what the hell are their army doing?
Obviously giving each other manicures and drinking a lot of wine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, we would Ciela, thank you very much. We would like to have a conversation with this person. We to see if they're willing to work with us for a couple of days while we break a whole bunch of curses or whatever.
So you see Ciela, like I would say kneel down in sort of like a I don't know, like a traditional praying Mary pose.
Hmm.
Except for, she's got these wings, so they like furl out around her while she's doing this. And you can, hear barely she's, whispering this sort of chant or prayer. She opens her eyes and they get like really, really white. Almost like with like a silver in them, and you can tell that she's like casting some sort of spell. And then she falls over from the shock of it, and she she says, Cinnamon has agreed to help us. She's like, but I was correct. She will want a favor in return from the party at a later date. She said, and she'll be here any minute. And right about then, there's like she has in no agency, I imagine there are some like potted plants on the inside. Would that be an accurate statement? Maybe
Yeah.
some what do they call those fake God damn it, I can't think of those plants right now. Ficus.
Ficus.
Yes. Anyway, so you see Aelin, you see this like flower sprout out of this plant. And out of it, like slowly enlarges this this woman. I don't know, probably about a little over 4 feet tall. She's got very, very pale skin, bright, like emerald green hair, emerald green eyes. And she says in this really trill, if you guys have seen Big Bang Theory, like Bernadette voice, she says, oh, how can I help the heroes? Like super, super happy, super peppy, super exciting.
Well, we have a whole bunch of people that are apparently being magically tracked that we could very much use your assistance in, like helping make that go away.
And she says, sure, I'd be happy to help. Like what? Lead me to where you need help to.
All right. So then I guess we're gonna head back to that building on the other side of town then.
Okay, and so trekking through town, there's Aelin, half elf, typical half elf, correct?
Yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. And then behind Aelin, you have a small, an average height woman who's got these large angelic wings, like flying along behind her. And then on her shoulder is this little tiny sparrow. Just tweet, like tweet singing the whole way. I would say borderline annoying, right?
Okay.
As they go. And you guys finally arrive back, and the bird hops off of Ciella's shoulder and transforms back into this little, I would say kind of elfish looking, but much smaller, obviously, 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
And she follows you guys down into the basement. Let me drop a picture of this wonderful NPC.
Oh.
Oh my god, that's huge. That is not the size token it's supposed to be.
Oh my
Seriously.
god.
Okay. And better drop CLN2. Just for picture's sake. So
Phyllis turned the lights on as well when she arrived.
Well, she just emanates light anyways.
Ciela says, like friends, this is the entertainer known as the singer named Cinnamon. Like she's a famous singer. If any of you guys are anywhat involved in any sort of pop culture, as soon as she names Cinnamon, whether or not you've seen her before, you would know who she's talking about. I would say this would be like in our current world, I don't know, Beyonce.
Billie Eilish.
Holy shit.
No, not Billie Eilish. Not like she's not famous enough. I would say Beyonce or maybe like, I don't know, Whitney Houston. I don't know.
Whitney Houston.
Unless you live under a rock, you don't know who you would know this, like at least this name would be like, oh, that's a famous person.
Yeah, Harlan would have no fucking clue.
Yeah, Harlan would probably be the
Harlan
only
lives
one
under
who
a
would
rock.
know.
Well, Harlan grew up in the fucking mountains in the middle of nowhere with no society, right? Like, people always say we live in a society. Harlan did not.
Well, that's what we just said. You live under a rock. It's okay. We love you anyways. Well,
She's
it's a
saying at
pleasure to
the,
meet you. This is us.
And she responds in this super trill voice. It's so great to meet you too. Like I've heard the stories.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, a pretty big deal.
You were at the Queen's
Oh, fuck.
Coronation?
She was at
Coronation,
the
yeah.
Queen's court, and she was at Alicia's coronation. From Lunastrella, and also, she sang at the memorial service for Alicia's mother.
Right.
So, like, even Harlan, I guess, like, you look at her and recognize her. Like, you've seen her before. You didn't recognize her because Cinnamon, but you would still know who she was because you've seen her before.
Now, this is out of character. If memory serves, wasn't she one of the ones who left
Yes.
after Halbjorn's ultimatum?
Yep.
Okay, he's gonna ask her about that.
What is he gonna ask her about? Why did she leave? Is it as simple as that, or do you have more to it?
Yeah, he's going to I thank you for coming here, but surprised to see you, actually. I recall you leaving after I delivered my ultimatum in Queen Alicia's defense.
She says rather, I don't know how you can be both trill and condescending, but if you can imagine that voice, this is the voice that comes back at you and says, it's just politics. Like, things change, the winds change, the people change, like different movements, civilizations rise and fall. She's like, that's the decision I made then, and this is the decision I make now. Like, it is what it is.
He's just gonna grunt to that and go back to poking at the whole night with his boot. It's not a good enough answer, clearly, but he's not gonna press the issue. She's here to help. She's here to help.
So she said oh, right, okay. It's a kind of when the king is dead, long live the king kind of attitude.
Exactly.
Type of thing. Yeah, and the patronising tone presumably comes from the fact that we're not fucking
Pragmatic.
like pragmatic enough to sort of understand that.
Well, unless you're not pragmatic enough, but more like she's of the highest level of society.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's I mean.
saying?
Well, I was gonna almost say like a royalty thing, like the patronising is almost like a royalty sort of air to
Yeah,
it.
we're not part of her
And
world.
entitled. Yeah.
Right. And beyond her wealth, she's also, like, obviously got some political mumbo jumbo. Otherwise she wouldn't have been at least at the second event, right? So in both ways, she feels she is far superior to Halbjorn for asking that question.
All right, duly noted.
Why would you want to be helping us out?
She's like,
Favor.
like,
Sorry,
you guys
that
have
wasn't. That's not.
you guys
Yeah, I
have
wasn't
proven your
asking-
worth.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have proven your worth, so like having a favor from you guys would be super helpful. Like,
Yeah.
they're definitely, like, and she's like, like, if I need to, if I need some specialty muscle or some specialty work done, if I need to snuff out some bad person, then you guys can do it. And you guys like taking out bad dudes. So like, don't think too hard on it. Like, just because we have opposite goals or opposite like ways of getting things done or like what we want done doesn't mean we can't accomplish the same goals because we're taking out the same people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not entirely warming to her myself. But
You're not odd just to be in her presence.
no, I find her a bit. I don't like the fact that she's fucking patronising to hell beyond. That's our job.
Yeah.
To laugh at his
Don't let that
plans
bitch
to-
muscle on your territory.
Yeah. It's our job to take the piss out of each other. You know, you can criticise your own family all day long, but the minute someone else does, you fucking get your heckles get up straight away. That's just what real life is about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can call my dad a silly old fat, but if anyone else did it, I'd be fucking furious. Do you know what I mean? And I sort of felt a bit like that with just then. So anyway. Yeah, well, we'll just have to get the job done, won't we?
Yeah. So in the shuffling about and as these things get done and we get working on the previously enslaved peoples and unmarking them, Aelin wants to just mention to Ciela, see, like, how would you feel about carrying something like one of these rocks so that we could get a hold of you without running across town?
And you know, Ciela's like, man, that's a great idea. She's like, it's unfortunate because when Merrywind was my home base, you know, like as long as I was in the dominion of Greater Merrywind, like Princess Alicia, well, Queen Alicia had upgraded like the magic of her castle, so I could cast spells at a longer range. You know, like I had better casting. You know, I could do more incredible magical things. She's like, so I didn't know how much I abused. Well, not necessarily abused, but just used those things inside the limits. While now, I don't have access to them. She's like, so sure, like that's a great idea.
Just you wait till we get that tower fixed up.
And she says, yeah, Nina's been pouring through all the work. Like, you guys have no idea how much stuff is in there.
I'll believe it.
So what you guys
Halbjorn,
just?
what did you
Oh,
do
sorry.
to that jailer?
I disarmed him. I was actually hoping you could read what was on the inside of the armor.
Okay.
As he says
But-
that he's going to keep poking at the blackened veins on the dude's chest with his boot.
So, Aelin, do you have Infernal?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So Aelin, on the inside, it looks like a contract, and it looks like a contract, like, I don't know, I would say like kind of like a warlock contract you might imagine with a patron. And obviously, this patron is none other than Azrael, the big nasty.
I'm gonna relay this information to Halbjorn and say it's your boyfriend.
He's gonna like tap his chin and say, I wonder if he'd be a bottom. Seems like it, don't you think?
Power bottom, definitely.
Power bottom.
Yeah, he seems like the bratty type.
Probably likes to get choked.
If you're
Some
gonna
of those
own it,
chains.
How does the saying go? Sticks and stones might break my bones, but whips and chains excite me.
So is there obviously you guys asked for her help, agreed to her terms, I guess, getting back.
Yeah, back on track here. Yeah, we're like we've agreed, right?
Within
gonna-
reason.
as long as it's not, as long as what she's, as long as we have a little bit of leeway to pass judgment on what she's asking us to do. If she's like, oh yeah, go kill this person who's like very obviously evil, sure, that's one thing. If it's like, dispose of this dictator who just doesn't do what I want, not quite the same thing.
Right, exactly. And she's on the same page with that. Like she may be condescending, but she's morally good. I don't know how those two things necessarily work together, but
Of privilege, but still good.
right, exactly. She's ignorantly condescending.
Yeah.
She's affluent. There we go.
Just because she's snotty and acts like everything is handed to her doesn't mean that it isn't within good-hearted meaning. That's just the way it comes out is abrasive.
So you guys agree to her terms. So now during this, because she can cast it 9 times, I want to say. Let me double check. She doesn't have something. I think 9 times, I want to say. Yeah, 9 times. She doesn't have. I haven't moved her sheet yet. It's still in battle NPC, but
I just remembered something. I'm dumb. When I short rest, I can get back half my level rounded up, so I can get back 2 third level spells. I can do that twice a day, so I can actually cure 4 more people.
perfect. So total math here. She can do 9.
I can do 8 plus 2 is 10 plus, or excuse me, 8 plus. So I could do 14 today.
14 more, or including that one?
8 plus 2 from the short rest, plus 2 from the ring, and it's 8 plus 2 plus Jesus Christ, my brain. 8 plus 2 from the ring, and then I can short rest twice and get back 4 spells, which is 14, and then I can do 2 more from. Excuse me, no, I can get 8 plus 2 and get. Then short rest, I can get back 2 from my short rest from my class feature, and then another 2 from taking 2 short rests. So I can do 8 plus 2, which is 12. Or wait.
Okay, so we had 12,
No,
9.
it's 14. It's 14 because I can get 8 plus 2 from the ring is 10, plus 2 from short resting spells is 12, and plus 2 from short resting from getting them back on the ring. So I can do 14. I'm sorry.
Okay, so 14 plus 9 plus
23.
3.
So 26. We can do 26 of them.
So
Just
we
2
can
days
knock
then.
it out in 2 days.
Okay, now that's marginally shorter than it took to do the maths.
And that was without my help. It would have taken 3 times longer if it were.
Oh,
I
was up-
spellcasters get no say in how long it takes to calculate spell slots.
Look, I was up super. I was up to like 2 a.m. last night. I slept like 5 hours, and then I'm like.
Oh, it's
all
more
done.
numbers. Not more numbers, for fuck's sake.
Math's great. Don't be a hater.
No, I love it. I just can't do it.
I love maths.
So during this 2 days, is there anything else you guys do? I mean, because what is spell magic instantaneous, right? It has casting time of
Yep.
1 action.
Yep.
So let's see, in actual time, that'll take 6 times I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't have to do the math. It's going to take a very short amount of time to actually cast the spells. So, you still have a little daylight left today, or we can go to bed, wake up the next morning. Kind of where you guys want to go with this.
Can we
Well,
just say
re-
that we had a really nice meal together as a party and a group of friends?
Yeah.
Okay. And during the party, Cinnamon can't help herself and she sings. There's a little dancing, a little alcohol involved. Everyone's having a good time.
Oh, sorry. I meant as a party, no party. Just like the 6 of
as a-
us,
Oh, okay. I see how it
including
is.
Ciela and I forgot his name already. Alistair. There we go.
Jesus.
And Yellowbeard too, I guess. We'll invite him along too. Just
I don't know. The
7
party sounded
pals.
fun.
Oh,
It's still a little party.
you mean the?
You got a lot of NPCs in town right now.
We sure should do.
You could invite Shaw over too.
Oh,
But
he's
Shaw's,
He's out of
Shaw's
town,
not
remember?
there. Shaw's not there. Yeah. But
He's out of town.
Oh.
He doesn't count.
We
Are
can
we
invite
inviting this
the
patronising
desk
woman that
guy
we just
to
met?
clown on him.
And Nina, if she wants to join us.
oh, and
Fucking hell, England's coming. Why don't we invite those 6 guys that are in different bodies than they were when we met them? What about them?
Yeah. See how
We
they're
killed
doing.
them. Actually, no, fuck it.
We didn't kill them. We got them killed. There's a very
you
very
got
distinct
them
distinction.
killed.
Yeah, but I didn't kill them directly. I didn't cleave their heads off their shoulders.
I think it's probably some sort of industrial manslaughter due to negligence, I think.
That's true.
Well, negligence in the workplace.
No, Samuel does have a good point though. Does Cinnamon come to this little shindig or not?
No.
I mean, we just brought her here. I mean, I assume we probably have
Would-
things to talk about.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Do you have any questions for her or anything you want to know just in general from all the NPCs that you have around, things like that? Any sort of general questions?
Does she
How-
support the queen?
Does Cinnamon support the queen?
Yes.
So Cinnamon privately supports the queen, but publicly she must be neutral because Lunastrella is neither like it's not for or against, it's against like the losing people part, and it doesn't really like they don't have a large army. So that's going back to politics. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I want to ask
for
Nina
anyone.
how the tower is going.
So, Nina tells you that she's found several, like old records of like old mages and old, like sources of magic, like different ways to distill magical ability. Like she's like some of these books are, as old as like the fabled Fiona. Like some of these, and like there are lots of great works. She was like, I haven't really dove into any of them specifically. She's just been like cataloging and organizing. She's like, but she's probably found between that and like maybe minor magical objects and things of that nature, a total of like maybe like 300 artifacts, not artifacts, the items that are like super powerful, let's be ultra clear here. She has not found 300 artifacts. Are we clear on that?
Yes.
There is someone specific I'm waiting to hear a yes from. He's large and
In charge of stealing
And-
other people's items.
rather headstrong.
Did you just call him fat and big-headed?
Wait, who's she calling fat and big-headed?
You.
What the fuck? That's so mean.
I wanted to make sure that you heard me say that there are not 300 artifacts like the type of item. There are just 300 artifacts like magical objects and old tombs.
And this is Nina?
No,
Yeah.
the person, the DM, am making sure you, you as a person understand I am not saying there are 300 artifact level items that all of a sudden you guys got a hold of.
Well, no shit. Hold on. Why am I being singled out for this? Artifacts, lowercase, got it. Not uppercase.
Okay, so as I was saying, Nina, has found and cataloged quite a number of things. She's like, there's, some interesting rooms. There's like a little torture chamber downstairs.
Woo.
She's like, I've got like most of the sarcophagi moved out. Yellowbeard's enlisted some larger dudes to bring them out.
Cool. Thank you. Sounds like you're having fun. I hope you're having fun.
She's like, I'm having so much fun I could die in there.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, refrain from doing that. Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else questions? It's your NPC question and answer time. Going.
I'm going to ask Cinnamon if she knows some obscure tribal song that I would know the name of, and if she does, she can sing it.
Surprisingly, she does know the an odd tribal song.
Yeah,
And
it's like a guttural clicking song.
And you notice that like when she ad libs, I want to see where her role would be, just out of curiosity. Ooh. Hot damn. That's a spicy roll. What the heck? No, I can't get chat to pop back up. Anyway, so she says, like when she's performing it, you notice that some of the words that she ad libs and puts into the song are Druidic.
So Harlan is like really into this. He this is the prettiest rendition of the song he's ever heard, which it's kind of hard to really identify that because it's most people it sounds like nonsense. It's very guttural and low with a bunch of like clicks woven in. But Harlan is swooning would be the best way to put it.
Anything else? Any other questions?
We have all of the people here, huh?
We have a bunch of people here. This is the largest gathering of people, of NPCs for sure. And you don't have to necessarily ask them now. Like if you think of other questions later, I was just thinking we're close to the end of session. So I was just, if anyone had any specific ones that they were thinking of at the moment. Like this was
Mm-hmm.
your opportunity.
I suppose we could bang him in Discord in the week, because if we're
Yes.
going to leave it at this point, and I suppose this is a representation of sitting around having a meal.
Right.
Anything does crop up, we could. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. And that's what
Yeah.
how I was trying to end, is that way, like throughout the week, this is a large gathering. Like I said, Alistair's here, Nina's here, Ciella's here, Cinnamon's here, Yellowbeard's here. And Cinnamon's from a whole different part of the world that you guys haven't explored yet at this point. And she has a different worldview. That's something else I wanted to point out. You have new information to talk about with the people, depending on who you want to share it with, things of that nature. Like I can imagine you pulling someone into a private room and telling them, X, Y, and Z that you learned or whatever. I just wanted to leave the opportunity available so that if you had any questions, if you wanted to do any, like figure out any storylines or figure out any larger plots or anything like that, we're at a good point to explore those.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exciting.
And I feel like that's important going into the next segment, because you've also learned some, like, we haven't done anything really with Summertide. Like the Artificer is there. But otherwise, I mean, like, you don't know much about it besides it being a court state, but they also walked out. So again, like I'm saying, there are a lot of things to dig into there if you so choose.
Oh, Halbjorn's gonna have some words for the Artificer.
The Artificer is not at the party, but
Oh, he left?
no, he was
He
never
was
at the
never
party.
there.
Fuck, I did mishear it. Never mind.
No, I just meant
No,
that
it's an artificer
all the
in
maps from the slavers have all pointed to Summertide, and that was a court state until they left.
Scum.
Shady shit. Shady suspicious shit.
Hella sus.
That's all I really have. I mean, I have more, obviously, lots more, but it's the end of time.
Wow, time has ended all over, like forever. And there's no
All
more time?
over and forever.
Makes sense.
Actually, I appreciate that. I didn't want to go to work tomorrow.
I didn't want to go to work
does?
tonight.
Yeah.
You need to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, if you don't sleep, that's going to be a lot sooner than you want it to
That's
be.
what I was about to say. Christine. I got. All right, I will catch you guys next week.
See you later.
All right.
Later.
Take care. Stay safe.
Have a good day.
That's it.
Farewell.
You guys too. I'm
Bye
Balin.
bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you later, man.